Did you know that some of music's most beloved artists carried secrets that could have destroyed their careers? And that a few of your favorite songs were born out of scandal, betrayal, or tragedy? Music history isn't just about melodies, it's about mysteries. Today we're uncovering 25 dark secrets hidden behind the biggest hits. The truth might just change the way you hear some of these songs forever. At number 25, it's White Room. This was written during the band's breaking point, a metaphor for isolation, exhaustion, and fame's toll. Behind the soaring guitars, the song masked bitter rivals between Jack Bruce and Ginger Baker that destroyed Cream. The single became one of their last great hits before the band imploded that very same year. Eric Clapton went solo, Bruce pursued jazz fusion, and Baker passed away in 2019, leaving behind a storm of genius and chaos. At number 24, it's Piece of My Heart. This was more than a hit. It was Janis Joplin's emotional breakdown in real time. Her raw voice came from pain, addiction, and loneliness that the industry only amplified. The song hit number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100 and made her a rock goddess. But the pressure also crushed her. She died of an overdose in 1970, just 2 years later. At number 23, it's My Generation. This captured the anger of youth, but it also reflected Pete Townshend's real frustration with stuttering anxiety. The band's wild stage smashing became a metaphor for their own inner destruction. It stormed to number 2 in the UK, turning Rebellion into a generational anthem. Keith Moon's self-destructive habits caught up with him, and he died at just 32, sealing the song's tragic prophecy. Coming in at number 22, it's For What It's Worth.
So much resistance from behind.
Written after the 1966 Sunset Strip riots, this song became an anthem of paranoia and unrest. Its soft sound masked the unease of a generation turning against authority. It reached number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming the sound of a revolution in slow motion. The band split soon after, with Stephen Stills and Neil Young finding new fame and new battles, and Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. At number 21, it's All Along the Watchtower. Originally written by Bob Dylan, Hendrix turned this song into a haunting prophecy of chaos. Its spiraling solos mirrored his own unraveling mind in the weight of sudden stardom. The single peaked at number 20, cementing Hendrix's legend. But by 1970, the legend was gone. Hendrix had died from a drug overdose at 27, the same year the 60s dream died. Moving on to number 20, it's Break On Through. Break On Through was Jim Morrison's manifesto, a plea to escape reality through drugs, music, and rebellion. Fans embraced his primal beat, unaware that Morrison's self-destruction was written between the lines. It was an immediate success at first, but it became their defining statement of defiance. Jim Morrison's escape came far too soon, as he died in 1971, found in a Paris bathtub at just 27 years old. On to number 19, Somebody to Love. What sounded like a love song was actually Grace Slick's cynical jab at San Francisco's failed hippie utopia. Beneath the flower power gloss was heartbreak, paranoia, and disillusionment. It soared to number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became the anthem of the summer of love's darker side. The airplane crashed in 1972, but Grace kept on flying, first with Jefferson Starship and then into rock immortality. Coming in at number 18 is the classic Born to Be Wild. This track sounded like freedom, but it came from the frustration of a band trapped by record labels. Its use in Easy Rider tied it forever to rebellion and tragedy. It hit number 2 in the US, becoming rock's first anthem of the open road. John Kay still performs long after the band's engines cooled, the last biker of a vanished age. At number 17, it's Good Vibrations.
I don't know where, but she sends me there.
Behind its sunny sound, it was born out of obsession, Brian Wilson's mental breakdown in musical form. It took 6 months and thousands of studio hours, pushing him to the edge of insanity. The song hit #1 and redefined studio production forever. Brian never fully recovered from his psychosis, though he still tours, the fragile genius behind California's Eternal Summer. At number 16, it's Fortunate Son. This protest song was personal, John Fogerty's anger at class privilege during the Vietnam War. It became a battle cry for those who had no choice but to fight. Reaching #3 on Billboard, it defined anti-war rock albums. CCR broke apart in 1972 after lawsuits and betrayal. Fogerty went solo, still fighting ghosts from his own band. At number 15, it's Sunshine of Your Love. Born out of a failed concert and a long night of frustration, Sunshine of Your Love became rock's heaviest love song. Its hypnotic riff masked tension so fierce, the band couldn't stand each other. The song climbed to number 5, paving the way for hard rock. By 1968, Cream had melted. Clapton carried on, while Bruce and Baker's rivalry burned until the end. At number 14, it's A Whole Lotta Love. This song electrified the world, but it had a legal war. Its lyrics were lifted from a Willie Dixon blues song. The lawsuit that followed haunted Zeppelin's every reputation. Still, it exploded to number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, redefining hard rock forever. John Bonham's death in 1980 silenced the band. Plant and Page carried on, but Zeppelin's thunder was never the same. On to number 13, I Can't Get No Satisfaction. Keith Richards dreamed the riff, recorded it half asleep, and woke to rock immortality. The song's frustration wasn't just lyrical, it was their real disillusionment with fame and excess. It hit #1 worldwide and changed pop music forever. The Stones still roll, but the cost has been steep. Drugs, arrests, and the loss of Brian Jones in 1969. But here's where things start to get even darker, because behind some of the world's most celebrated songs lie stories the industry tried to bury. Songs born from death, addiction, betrayal, and obsession so intense it nearly destroyed their creators. At number 12, it's Painted Black.
I see a red door and I want it painted black.
This song was born from grief, a response to war, death, and the darkness that fame just couldn't hide no matter how hard it tried. Its star-driven wail captured a generation losing its innocence. The song hit #1 worldwide, turning sorrow into sound. Brian Jones, whose obsession gave it its edge, drowned just 3 years later at the age of 27. At number 11, it's A Whiter Shade of Pale.
The crowd called out for more.
This track was written under the haze of dreams and substances, a song about loss no one could quite explain. The ghostly organ and surreal lyrics gave it an otherworldly melancholy. It spent 6 weeks at #1 in the UK, defining the summer of psychedelia. Gary Brooker led the band until he died in 2022. The pale shade of 1967 fading at last. As we get ready to move into our top 10, don't forget to give us a like, a subscribe, and a share if you're enjoying the content. Starting the back half of our list at number 10, it's Run for Your Life. John Lennon later called this his least favorite Beatles song, a jealous, possessive threat disguised as pop. It exposed the darker, insecure side of the man who wrote Imagine. Though never a single, it hinted at the tension already brewing within the band. By 1970, the Beatles were gone, Lennon's life cut short in 1980 by the very obsession that he once sang about. Coming in at number 9, it's House of the Rising Sun. Nobody knows for sure who wrote House of the Rising Sun, only that the Animals made it sound like a confession. Its lyrics about sin and ruin echoed 1,000 broken dreams. It became the first British #1 hit in America before the Beatles invaded. The Animals split just 2 years later, and frontman Eric Burdon drifted through fame, still haunted by that old New Orleans house. Coming in at number 8, it's Brown Sugar. This is one of rock's catchiest songs and one of its most controversial. Behind the riff lies a tangled story of race, drugs, and exploitation. It topped the charts in 1971, even as critics dissected its disturbing imagery. Naturally, the Stones survived the backlash, but by then, decadence had become their brand, not their sin. At number 7, it's Hey Joe. This was about a man killing his lover, and somehow Hendrix made it sound like poetry. It was his debut single, but also a warning of the obsession and violence that haunted his life. The song became a UK hit, launching his meteoric rise. By 1970, Hendrix himself was gone, another 27-year-old casualty of rock's darkest romance. At number 6, it's Gimme Shelter. This wasn't just a song, it was an omen. War, chaos, murder, the soundtrack to the end of the 60s dream. Mick Jagger's voice intertwined with Mary Clayton's screams. Recorded while she was pregnant, she miscarried hours later. It never charted high, but it became the Stones' most haunting masterpiece. Half a century later, they still play it, proof that the storm never really ended. Moving on to our top 5, if you're still enjoying yourself, don't forget to like and subscribe, because we've got a day in the life.
A crowd of people stood and stared.
This was a dream, a crash, and a requiem, the sound of the world spinning out of control. It was inspired by newspaper tragedies and LSD-fueled introspection. The final orchestral crescendo shattered pop's boundaries forever. After the breakup, Lennon and Harrison died too young. McCartney and Starr remain, carrying the echo of that final chord. Number 4, Sympathy for the Devil.
I'm made will and taste.
This track turned outrage into art, a satanic satire that blurred the line between rebellion and damnation. It was blamed for the Altamont concert tragedy where a man was stabbed to death during their performance. Despite the chaos, it became one of the most daring songs in rock history. Decades later, the Stones are still alive, but every legend they outlived is a reminder of that deal with the devil. At number 3, it's White Rabbit.
One pill makes you small, and the ones that...
This was Grace Slick's psychedelic sermon, mixing Alice in Wonderland with LSD and rebellion. Its hypnotic rhythm mirrored the rise and fall of a generation high on revolution. The song climbed to number 8, defining the counterculture's eerie beauty. Slick retired in the 90s, saying she was too old to sing White Rabbit, but her voice still echoes through every trip. Moving into number 2, it's The Sound of Silence. Written after JFK's assassination, this was a cry into the void, a generation's grief turned into melody. Paul Simon wrote it in darkness, literally in his bathroom with the lights off. It became their first number 1 hit, haunting and eternal. The duo broke up in 1970. Simon kept writing, Garfunkel kept drifting, and silence grew between them. And now the moment you've been waiting for, on to our number 1, Like a Rolling Stone.
You said you'd never compromise.
When Dylan wrote this song, he was done being anybody's prophet. It was his rebellion against perfection. It shocked the world with its sneering honesty and 6-minute runtime. Rolling Stone magazine later crowned it the greatest song ever written. Dylan survived fame, accidents, and eras, the last poet standing from rock's most dangerous decade. Which of these songs did you love the most? Let us know in the comments section. And while you're still here, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, thanks for watching.